Okay, by now you have already created Illustrator documents in the past, so you know how to create a new document. But I'm just gonna, if you had a document open and you didn't know a couple of things, I want to show you here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit File New, and I'd like to teach you that you could have a letter size document and you could flip it so that the orientation is landscape instead of portrait. That means it's wide, not tall. And you could obviously take a look at inches. So that's a typical piece of paper is 11 inches wide by 8 inches tall when it's sideways. If you want to leave it at pixels, you could see what the pixels dimensions are for this document here. And now we're going to hit create. And so our paper or our file is now landscape. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to get the pumpkin that we're going to trace. So you're gonna right click the image. You can just copy it from the assignment, and let's go back into Adobe Illustrator, and we're gonna paste it. So we can go File, Paste, or I'm sorry, Edit, Paste, or Command V is the shortcut on your keyboard. Okay, now look how big this came out, and so let's learn how to zoom out. Okay, my zoom tool. Yours will be a magnifying glass, it should be, and you could drag to the left or right to zoom in and out. I'm dragging the mouse left and right. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to this black arrow, and I'm going to grab just the corner, and I'm going to shrink it. I'm going to hold shift though. You have to hold shift to keep it to the proper scale. If you don't hold shift, look what can happen. You don't want that. You want to keep it the exact same scale, and let's just go and center it. Let's go back to the magnifying glass and drag until you are zoomed in as much as you want. Now, if you want to move the page around, you could hold the mouse down on the magnifying glass and take this hand tool, and you could just it's like you can grab the page and move it around. So I'm going to set it back to the zoom now. Okay, now we are going to do, we're going to use this pen tool. Okay, and this tool right here is the pen tool. And let me demonstrate something over here. If I just click from point to point to point to point, it makes straight lines from point to point. That is not what we want to do though. We want to do something where we hold the mouse down to create these handles, and those make curves. And you'll notice you can't see anything here, but let's close this off. I'm gonna push delete, get rid of it, and let's play with the colors over here. If I double click this is the outline color. I'm gonna make it black, and then for now I am going to, oops, it didn't stay, so let me double click, select black, hit OK. Why is it not staying? Let me try this. I'm gonna click this, so now I clicked this little thing right here, so it gave it an outline of black, and the pen stroke is now 1 point, so I'm gonna make it to 2 just so I could see it better. And then for this white, I'm gonna double click, and we are gonna, I'm gonna click it once so it's above the outline color, and I'm gonna hit this little box right here so that there's no fill color anymore. Okay, you gotta play around with these, get used to this. So this is the outline color, and this is the fill color. So now when I click from point to point, you can see the outline, and then you go back to the original point, and it seals it off. And you can now take the black arrow over here and move this whole piece together. What's really neat though is you could take the white arrow and you can click these individual points and move them wherever you want. You click it, let go of it, and then drag it wherever you want. Okay, now I'm gonna delete all that again. So with this pen tool, if you drag, it creates these handles that you can then adjust later and adjust your shape, and they will be rounded edges. You don't want to click like this and trace objects in Illustrator. It makes it look really bad when we start animating things using these shapes. You want them to be nice and clean. So you could take the white arrow after that, click any of these points, and you could then drag the handles in and out, however you want. You could change the shape. Okay, so now we're gonna practice, and we're gonna get the shape of the pumpkin. So I'm gonna take this pen tool, And the very first click is going to be, I'm not going to drag right here. I'm just going to click and let go. And you'll see the line is attached to wherever I move the mouse. And then I'm going to drag along the edge, going along with the edge of the pumpkin. And the fewer points you use is better. Less points equals good in this with this pen tool. You'll have smoother curves if you use less points. And it just takes practice to be strategic and place the points in the right place. And you just drag along the edge, and then you go to the original point and click. And we're gonna now, after we've sealed it off, you can take this white arrow and drag these handles, click the point, highlight the handles and drag them, and go right along the curve of this pumpkin. Try to get good and control it. If yours isn't exactly perfect, that's okay, but we want it to be nice, and we want smooth, round image. We don't want a bunch of points so that it's like jagged. Now, to finalize the color, we can now double click the fill color, and you can actually, let's do it a different way. Let's do it a different way, actually. We're gonna take this eyedropper tool instead, right there. And when we have our outline selected, let's start back over. So we'll take the black arrow, we have this outline selected, and then I take the eyedropper and click right on the orange of the pumpkin, and now look, our pumpkin trace is filled in orange, okay? Now I'm gonna pause this video and we will do the stem next, okay? So go ahead and have fun tracing out the body of the pumpkin. Have fun.